We are joined by Dunstan Mnsonthi and his mom, Tiffany Johnson. Thank you for joining us. We're going to start, Mnsonthi, with that clip that we just saw a few moments ago. Talk about, that was a robbery when you were shot, how your life got to that point.
My life got to that point probably like middle school, just consistent mistakes and hanging around the wrong crowd of people and just doing the wrong thing for real. And just trying to find a source of income quicker than working a 9 to 5 at a young age. There's only so many options you got.
So, Mom, could you tell things were not right in his life at that time?
Absolutely.
How so?
Right around 15, I knew that something was just off. I mean, let me just back up a little bit. I mean, Dunstan's come from a good home, right? I mean, two-parent home, but you know, sometimes we don't have control. And so unfortunately at that time, I think around 15, he started using, and so using drugs and alcohol. And of course I think that he started going downhill from then.
So talk about the robbery, what happened that evening, and then we'll get to the good part, how you grew from this. Talk about what happened that evening.
That evening, I was leaving a party, and I seen an opportunity to get some money in the person's home, and I assumed the person wasn't home because it was like about probably 3 in the morning, so I broke in the person's home, but they actually were home the entire time.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 19.
Okay. So you're inside looking around for what you can take, and then what happened?
And then the homeowner came down and words were exchanged, and the long story, he just wanted me out. I wasn't trying to leave out at the same time because I went in there for a purpose, and then that's when guns got to the spark.
And so you were shot, I guess, in the back of the head?
Yeah, I was shot in the back of my head.
So you were in hospital for a long time. What was going through your mind? And then, Mom, talk about what was going through your whole life as well at that time.
Me personally, for me, I was more concerned when I get well, because I had a strong feeling and sense of like self that I wasn't going to be like handicapped or I was going to pull through. And my main focus was how was I about to get out of the limbo with the law, because I broke a law, I broke in somebody's house. So that was my main concern, is how to like not be arrested for the situation I put myself in.
At that point, had you decided you were going to change your life? At
that point, once I got out the hospital fully walking, because I'm still not fully recovered from being shot, but like after that, I just realized like it wasn't worth it, because only 2 options: the streets and dead, jail. That's it.
So, Mom, talk about what it was like for you during this time. How long were you in the hospital, first of all?
I was in the hospital for like 7 to 8 months.
So I assume you were there every day.
Yes, my family and I were there every day. I mean, definitely it was just a very hard journey to walk through. But, you know, we made it. I mean, we weren't going to, you know, leave them. It was just really hard. It was just a really tough time. But, I mean, through lots of prayer and support, he made it through. So.
But from that tragedy, you started the Listen Up conversation. Who wants to talk about that first, Mom? Son?
Okay, well, I'll start it. I just feel like the Listen Up conversation, just through the whole ordeal, me spending so much time in the hospital, lots of prayer, and I felt like that we needed to just give back, and give back in the sense that just sharing his story, sharing my story from a mom's perspective, and I just think it's just really important that you know, the word gets out about how he, you know, walked through the situation that he walked through and where he is now. And I just think so many teenagers and tweens, even young adults, they're hurting, right? So they're hurting. So I want them to see a live example. This is what happens when you do this and you make poor choices, but you can change. So that's kind of how it started.
Listen Up is a mentoring organization.
Yes.
Of 2, so to speak.
Yes.
And so you talk to the young people, teens. What is your message to them?
My message is basically I get to the point, I try to get to the nitty gritty of like the whole situation, why people do what they do. And there's other routes you can take and just try to avoid it. But sometimes it can be kind of like difficult to get people to see my perspective, because at the same time, I was living that type of lifestyle. So I'm trying to avoid people going down the same route and have the same repetitive cycle.
Right.
So how do you get them to listen? You know, someone who may be 16, 15 says, what does he know? Why,
Honestly,
you know, how do you get them to listen to you, to connect?
I would say it's more so like I just try to keep it real and as raw as it can be to a certain level, and try to relate to and just spit my message, and hopefully they can understand where I'm coming from. And if they pick it up and they understand, they'll actually perceive what I'm trying to say.
And I guess you get a sense that you can tell you're getting through to certain individuals.
Yeah,
what does that feel like for you?
But it actually feels good, because like if I would have had somebody tell me don't do this, do this, I would have avoided a lot of situations I put myself in. that I'm still going through.
So the Listen Up conversation, you go from place to place. Talk about that. Where do you guys appear, and how does it work?
Well, right now we just go into the schools. We've been at all of the high schools in St. Mary's County. We just started in St. Mary's County, right? So we want to go through. We want to hit the whole DMV area. So we just, we just call the schools. We go into the school. Hey, we present our program, a real life story, and we just want to share and just really just have a sit down and have a conversation with the teenager. As my son said, just keeping it real. As you saw the video, we just show a video, and so they actually see like a 5-minute video of his story as well as my story, and we just sit down and we talk about it and have a real conversation, and you'll be really surprised.
So it's interactive.
Yep.
What kind of questions do you get from the
I get a lot of questions, more so, like a lot of people ask me, like, do I still associate with the same people that I was with during, like, what occurred that night? And that's, like, the main question. A lot of people want to know, how do I, like, bounce back from, like, hanging with a certain lifestyle and then just trying to, like, live a narrow path?
Okay.
It's like, that's a common question.
And if someone wants to learn more about the organization, how can they do that?
Sure. They can always give me a call or go on our website at www.thelistenupconversation.com.
Okay, Tiffany Dunstan, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, for more information about Dunstan's story, visit the listenupconversation.com.